Now here's the two hammocks as they appear in their sacks. The one on the left you'll see is just arrived in the mail. I haven't opened it yet. The one on the right I have opened and hung it a few times, so perhaps that's the difference in the way they're packed at the moment in the sacks. This one's been packed by myself, this one's as it comes from the retailer. Now both of these come in around the $20 mark delivered to Australia. This one was supposedly located in Australia, but I don't believe it was the case. This one was come from Hong Kong, I believe. You'll find, looks like both of the sacks, well, this one definitely, because I haven't opened this one yet, but the sacks are the same material and the same colour profile as the actual hammocks themselves. Now what I actually wanted to show you is that these are the straps that come with them. I think this is just sort of like a nylon rope, probably about I don't know, 18 inches maybe, give or take, of a loop. Now they stretch significantly, and there's just a knot tied in the end to tie them together, and the knot has been burnt there to terminate the ends. But yeah, I'm not real confident in these, but thus far they've managed to hold my weight. Now, I was of the opinion that these had come from the same factory, and by looking at the online and the different retailers, they certainly appear to be. The stats of them vary slightly from their weight capacities. Most of them seem to suggest they're around about 150 kilo. Some of them also suggest that they're a double, others suggest they're a single. The material varies from nylon and taffeta to parachute material and any other number of listed materials. One thing I have noticed, look, and I expected these to be identical as I pulled them out of the pack. Stitching and everything looks the same. Obviously the packs, sorry, the stuff sacks, which is actually attached to the side of the hammock, very similar to the Eno, and you will see that these are very similar to the Enos. Not that I own an Eno, but again, just from the images etc. that I've seen online, they look all but identical. I'm not going to suggest that they come from the same factory, but obviously, you know, in these sorts of things, that sort of thing never surprises you. Anyway, getting back to the point, I did think that these were identical, and I've actually pulled out well, I use the term suspension very loosely, the cord that comes with the hammock. Now this is from the original one, and you'll just see it's just got a standard knot tied in it. Sorry, I'm not a knot aficionado, so I can't tell you what that is, but it just looks like a standard, well, it's not a fisherman's, I don't know what it is. Anyway, a standard knot with the ends, there we go, with the ends burnt off. Not a lot of confidence in this, and this actually stretched significantly when I initially hung it up. Now I've just sort of pulled out the other cord, or suspension cord, from the other one, and whilst it's quite similar, you'll see it is quite different. The weave appears to be the same. Sorry about that wind. The weave appears to be the same, but it is quite different. Now, whilst I said I didn't have a lot of confidence in, whilst I said I didn't have a lot of confidence in this one, I've got even less confidence in this, and I'll show you why. There's already kinks, or what appears to be, already appears to be kinks or weaknesses in it where it's been folded over, and there's a few of those in the material itself, so I don't know, I might give it a crack and see how it goes. I'm more curious to see if this stretch is the same. It does appear to certainly be similar sort of material, but just sort of a ever so slightly larger diameter, and the weave appears to be maybe slightly more open, but that could be because I've hung off these ones and tightened up a little bit, but it is sort of a paler colour anyway, which obviously begs the question whether they are the identical hammock. Anyway, I'm going to jump in, going to open the new one up, hang it up and see how we go, give you more of a look at the suspension and have a look at the stitching etc, and go from there. I did buy this one based on my experience with this one here, which I've had for a few weeks. Haven't actually done any overnighters in it, but the quality of the material and the stitching has all been pretty good for this. For sub $20, this one's going to be the dog hammock, which I take along you know, and the loner, which I'm going to let people jump in. I can jump in this one. It's less than $20. If the dog jumps in with me and it splits or tears, or he puts one of his toenails through it or something like that, so be it, doesn't matter. But yeah, since I was pretty impressed with that one, went out and bought another one. That one was even cheaper. I think it was about $21, maybe around the $20, and I think that one landed for about $80. So we'll jump in, we'll have a look at them, and we'll get back to you shortly. Yeah, here's both of the hammocks set up. Now, as you'll notice here, I've got this one set fairly tautly, and I actually experienced this when I set up the other one originally, in that I had to really lean on the hammock to get it to actually clip into this cordage, and it was really tight, and I thought, okay, well, this is interesting. I'm not going to be able to actually hang in this without some, you know, first chucking on some whoopies or something along those lines, which is actually the intention for this. Not sure whether I might do one with whoopies and one with webbing, but anyway, just have a bit of fun and mix it up a little bit. So you'll see how taut that is there, but you'll see the other one over the back, which has actually been hung in, and how much higher that is on the swing set there, and that's how much stretch you actually get out of these and the hammock itself. So I think it's actually a combination of possibly the hammock material. Like I said, I believe some of them listed as nylon, which would explain the stretching, and definitely this cordage that's supplied with it. So obviously, you know, want to get rid of this, and keeping in mind that offers you absolutely no adjustability at all. I suppose if it was a shorter hang that you're looking to do, your uprights were shorter, you could certainly loop this around a tree or something a few more times to shorten it, but you're certainly not getting any longer than that. So very, very limited in their application, I suppose. What I've found is that these carabiners certainly look to be the same. They're obviously a cheap quality. They seem to be fairly sturdy, but what I'm finding is they very much remind me of the cheap, you know, 50 cent, 20 cent, you know, 5 for $1 type carabiners that you get off eBay that people hook their keys on. Obviously not climbing rated, like the I think it's the Mad Rock or something carabiners that come with the Grand Trunk Nano. They're actually climbing rated carabiners, and you know, I'd happily use them for climbing purposes, but these I'm even reluctant to hang off them. But as everybody says, you know, hang it no higher than you're happy to fall, so I have these quite close to the ground in the expectation that they're going to fail. So there's the rope going around there, the cordage, and you'll see they actually fail in a couple of times to actually clip in, which I've seen on a few times now. And obviously, if you know anything about carabiners, if they're open, they're not at their full strength, so that in itself is dangerous. Nothing to tell about the whipping. There we go. It's just straight through the end channel there. All the stitching on this one has been excellent. I've been really impressed, and that was why I actually made the decision to go with the second one. This is my, that's my Tech Line ridge line there, just going across the top. Let's jump in and have a quick look at this one. You can see how the sorry, I'm going to come from this side so you can see in the sun. Come from this side, this is the pocket, upside down, that the hammock packs back into and used for storage when you're in it. Again, like I said, very similar to the Eno, so perhaps somebody who's got an Eno can post up and let me know. Let's have a look. So just a single stitched hem along the outside, which is identical to the other one, and we expect to see a triple stitching in the middle here, which you do, and as you can see, the stitching all appears to be pretty good. So I guess for the $20 mark, you're more or less just paying for the hammock body. Forget about anything else, forget about these carabiners, forget about the cordage. You know, you want to put a continuous loop in here. There you go, another example of that carabiner there. Now that's 2 from 4 that I've just put up that haven't closed. So what I also find is they've got some sharp points on there as well, these points here and here, and as this cordage is, well, shit, what I'm finding is it's catching on it and threading it and buggering it up anyway, so I don't think that'll last very long. with the original one, like I showed you the knot that was in that, with the new one I had to actually knot the cordage myself. So anyway, we're going to jump in this now and have a quick hang. It's going to be a challenge for my 5'4" frame to get my ass up here, but we expect it to droop down pretty quick. Again, let's look at the two hammocks. Might just quickly throw you some stats. Like I said, they rate them at around 150 capacity. Some of them list them as a 2-person, some of them list them as a 1. Might actually give it, I've had myself and the dog, I'm around just under or about the 70 kilos, dog's around about 20 kilos, so I've held 90 kilo no problem. Depending, again, they seem to list them between around the 260 and 270 in length. I'm expecting these to be identical, and around about the 145 wide, so they're a nice wide hammock. But, and I do apologise, if you look at the series 12 months in a hammock, he actually looks at these two-tone hammocks, identical to these, and I think it is actually an Eno that he uses. And anywhere that you have this, stitching where material is joined, that actually becomes a fairly taut ridge. So whilst you've got the extra wide hammock, it almost becomes only as wide as the stitching from one side to the other, and as you can see, that becomes a bit of a narrower hammock, because once you put your head or your legs on this, it definitely becomes a ridge or a hard spot in the hammock. You can still lay across it, but not as comfortable as it would be if it was all one lot of material. Like I said, nylon taffeta or parachute material, they refer to them as. This one actually was listed as weatherproof, I think they said. But it's certainly, I don't know what they mean by weatherproof, but they're both breathable. You can all but see through the fabric, not sure whether you can see there. No blemishes in the fabric as far as I can tell. But yeah, fairly comfortable hammock for 20 bucks. Why not? Grab one, chuck some whoopies on it, some webbing, whatever. Okay, so we'll jump in this one and I'll show you how much this one stretches. So there's Titan checking it out, and as you can see, just from literally walking up and dropping my bum in it, you can see that different hang angle there. So that's how much it's stretched just from literally walking up. I haven't laid in it, just set my bum in it, and it went down to the ground and touched the ground. So significant stretch in these, and this one actually looks like it's going to stretch even further than the other one. But we'll go back, we'll raise it up bit by bit, sit in it, and I'll come back to you when I've actually got it all stretched out. Obviously this is going to continue to stretch overnight as you lay in it, which offers its own challenges, but we'll come back to you when I think I've got it stretched out, or I might just pop it up to the height and we'll come back and we'll have a look on it inside. Now I have noticed that on this one, again, look, I'm going to have to say these are coming from the same factory, regardless of colour or price or measurements. These have to be coming from the same factory. I have noticed slight difference here though in the terminating of the stitching on the end. You can see that's a little bit messy. Might need a bit of a tidy up. Hit that with a cigarette lighter, just burn those off and make sure it's terminated correctly and it's not going to let go on me. Versus this one here, which, while not spectacular, probably slightly resembles some of my DIY stuff, but was fairly tidy for the most part. Keeping in mind that this is the example that prompted the second purchase of this one. Anyway, we'll jump in. So hopefully from this you can see that on a diagonal lay, get a fairly flat lay. Have got a slight ridge from that stitching going down there, but again it's pretty well stitched from the inside. It appears that it's only slightly lacking in the termination points there at the end. A bit of a ridge coming down here, laying across it, but it's certainly wide enough. You can see there's plenty of hammock there, open right up. Not sure about sticking two people in it, and to be honest, I've never had two people in a hammock, but I'm gonna have to give that a crack, I think. Okay, but anyway, ultimately for 20 bucks, yeah, look, I'm going to say I'd recommend these at this point. I haven't spent a lot of time in them, haven't done an overnighter, but they're a simple gathered in hammock. and like I said, similar to what appears to be more expensive price hammocks, providing that you stick your own suspension, etc. on them. You know, stick on a set of whoopee slings and away you go. The material's quite nice. The colour selection's nice. They do seem to charge different prices for the different colours depending on which vendor you go to, and oddly enough, some of the vendors only seem to stock one colour, so I don't understand what that deal is there. I'll list both of the vendors that I purchased these off, and as obviously these have turned up in Australia. Both of them arrived within sort of about a week and a half, so they arrived pretty quickly, so reliable overseas sellers if you're looking to purchase inside Australia. And pretty happy with their obviously the postage times. They just come, you know, packed in a plastic bags, etc. So nothing special about the packing, but you wouldn't expect so for, you know, the $20 odd mark. So anyway, like I said, for $20, if you wanted to, you know, looking to get into hammocks and you're looking just to grab yourself a cheapie, see whether you're going to like it. These are a nice, you know, long, wide hammock. So reasonably comfortable at this point, and for $20, if you don't like it, or you bugger it up, or you know, you lend it to somebody and you don't get it back, or it gets buggered, then you know, no great loss. Stick some different suspension on the end, get rid of that cheap rubbish. Even if you want to spend a few nights in that, you know, up to you. Good luck. Report if it fails, but at this point, yeah, chuck some other suspension on it, and you've got yourself a reasonably priced hammock to, you know, have a go at. Alright, again, thanks for stopping by. Any questions, shoot me a message, do my best to respond to them all, and let me know what hammocks you've got there, and maybe post up a video, gives a look. I'd definitely be interested in seeing somebody who's got an Eno, if they'd be interested in taking the time just to post a video and show me just some of the stitching and stuff like that, and some close-up videos, and see whether they are actually indeed the same hammock. I'd be interested in some specs there as well. Excellent, thanks for stopping by, guys. Have a good week, yeah?